201 hospitalized advanced cancer, and 201 family caregiver. And the results show that most of the patient is female and have marriage, and then type of cancer, most of type of cancer is breast cancer. And for the performance status of the patient is independent. And for the family caregiver, most of the family caregiver is female, and the relationship with the patient is supposed. And time of care per day is more than 12 hours. So it means that family caregiver give caring to patient almost 24 hours in hospital. And most of the family caregiver didn't get any information about how to caring to patient while in hospital. And the results show that family caregiver in Indonesia involved in many aspects of care in patient, such as assist activities like daily of living, and then support physical, psychological, social autonomy, spiritual, then financial support for the patient. And based on the Spearman role, there is significant correlation between family caregiver involvement in cancer care and psychological symptoms among advanced care patients. And involvement of family caregiver is a crucial aspect in dealing with psychological issues among advanced cancer patients during hospitalization. Cancer care education for family is recommended to improve their bedside capabilities for help patient while hospitalization. Okay, thank you. That's all about the research.
Let's take already the time limit and completed our papers within the limit. Thanks.
Okay. Now the next presenter is Ismarto. He's going to present to us as a professional self-research.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The title of our research is Nurses Professional Self-Concept on Working Productivity of Clinical Nurses. We do research in teaching hospital in Indonesia. Background: result of the literature study and preliminary study so that data from several hospitals in Indonesia regarding the efficiency of hospital quality services style do not meet the standard of the Health Ministry of Indonesia. Patient feeling less satisfied with the responsiveness of doctor and nurses, and patient not feeling satisfied with the attitude of doctor and nurses in listening to patient complaints. In another perspective, the nurses' professional self-concept is concerned with how individuals perceive themselves as professional in nursing is about what nurses feel about themselves as nurses. Nurses need to enhance the resources and opportunities of basic and advanced nursing practice, offered to provide more visibility to the part of nursing so that people can recognize the role of nurses. The problem of nurses is self-concept, namely the lack of nurse communication with the community and the absence of nurse in media. The negative self-concept of nurses is partly caused by nurses themselves. Objective: the purpose of this study is now to develop a professional self-concept model on the productivity of the nurses work. method from this table, an explanatory design with cross-sectional crowds, sample, inpatient room with simple room randomization technique, inclusion criteria, benefit withdrawal experience of the last 1 year, data analysis, using partialist square with significant level of difficulty. The data taken are organizational characteristic, thus professional, self-concept, job characteristic, organizational environment, and work productivity of nurses. Result: organizational aspect where a significant effect on the self-concept on licensed nurse 0.4397. The self-concept of professional nurses affect work productivity 0.4953. Characteristic of the work affect the self-concept of licensed nurses 0.1978. The organizational environmental affect the nurse professional self-concept 0.5391. Conclusion: organizational characteristic, work characteristic, and organizational environment have a relationship with professional self-concept of nurses. Furthermore, the self-concept of professional nurses has a relationship and can increase nurse work productivity. Professional self-concept nurse form a professional identity in nurses will increase nurse productivity at work. In this study, assessing the productive aspect of nurse work from professional self-concept, and so that the development of nurses work productivity related to psychological aspect need future research. Thank you.
The next presenter, Intrapersonal Part 1. Are you around, Intra?
According to the serial, it will be continued, so you may be ready. After the next speaker, may be ready from the list.
Next will be Imam Gunawan.
In the abstract group, you see accordingly as per serial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this. Okay.
Okay, thank you for this time. This is my title of my research is the analysis of the growth and development according to families economic status in village UNIMUS, district Tanjung Morawa. Particular time is golden period because growth of the brain so quickly that we call good nutrition. The golden period can be realized when the children get appropriate nutritional intake for optimal growth and development. The United Nations Children or UNICEF report that there are 24 countries that 1 from 10 children die every year before reaching their 5th birthday among of them are Africa and South Asia. This is, we can see the data. 1 in 3 children grows short, and 1 in 5 children who experience underweight are found in low economic families. World Health Organization say that stunting is estimated to be around 171 million to 314 million. This 90% occurs in Africa and Asia. This is for, we can see the full population in Indonesia. Every year it's increased, and this is one of the disorder growth and development, stunting. And then this is the fishbone diagram about problem of child development. Variable in my research is any 7, and then this is conceptual framework, economic status, parenting, utilization of basic health service, environment sanitation, to growth and development, and variable compounding this regular diet. This is research methodology, and then population and sample for data analysis univariate and analysis bivariate. Conclusion: variables that are proven to have a relationship to the growth and development of infant are economic status, parenting, environment, sanitation. Characteristic of normal weight toddler, we can see there. And third, variables that are proven to have no relationship to growth and development are self-care patterns and utilization of basic health service. Economic status is proven to be the most related factor for the development of toddler. So the suggestion for the Delhi Serdang district government as a party related to prevention and problem of growth and development of toddler, to provide attention and support for economic families law is done with the help of family economic development through the assistance of family welfare fund for small and medium micro business by providing low interest loan and forming community cooperatives. Thank you.
Any questions from the floor? Because we still have time to finish early.
Any question, any query, or any suggestion or anything? No? Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next presenter is Andiko Nugraha Kusuma. His title will be the effect of decade therapy on anxiety levels in chronic kidney failure patients.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Lincoln. Thank you, Chairman. Now I will present to you my result of research. The effect of Ziegler therapy on anxiety level in chronic kidney failure patients that have done hemodialysis therapy. The background of this research is anxiety experienced by kidney patients undergoing hemodialysis can be caused by various stressors, including complication of hemodialysis, dependence on others, difficulties in maintaining employment, financial, death rate, and other by Veronica in 2013. Also, zikir is an act of remembering, mentioning, understanding, maintaining in the form of verbal utterance, movement of the heart or movement of limb, contains the meaning of praise, gratitude, and prayer in the ways taught by Allah and His Messenger to obtain inner peace or get closer or takarrub to Allah and to obtain salvation and avoid the punishment of Allah. by Suhaimi to 115. And then previous studies have shown the effectiveness of dhikr in reducing anxiety levels from the result of previous studies according to Satyawati 240. Problem research and research question. The number of patients with chronic kidney failure at hospital in Semarang district was increased with total of 32 patients. The result of interview with 5 patients with chronic kidney failure who will do hemodialysis of hospital in Semarang district said the patient rest and sleep needs were not met properly. Some also said when he slept, often he woke up, difficult to maintain sleep. Is there an effect of dhikr therapy on anxiety levels in chronic kidney failure patient undergoing hemodialysis? This by using quasi-experimental without control in that this design seek to reveal the causal relationship with one group pre-test and post-test. Research location and time is in hospital in this Semarang district, Banten province. Research time in 6 months. Population and participant is 18 respondent. Result of research: frequency distribution of ancient level kidney failure is heavy. Is frequency is 2%, is 11, medium 10, low 4, and none 2. Frequency is 2. Total 18. After dhikr therapy, there is change in tension level. Heavy is 0, low, medium is 2, and low 9, and none is 7. After the analysis of this research, we will get the p-value is 0.000, mean less than alpha. Score of alpha is 0.005. It means there is a relation between dhikr therapy to hemodialysis. Discussion: anxiety patient with chronic renal failure or with hemodialysis therapy before the intervention is given at the first measurement without intervention from the questionnaire result. Most patients experience unable to rest calmly, cry easily, have nightmares, to have bad feeling after being given an intervention. And the second measurement had changed. The patient just feel easy to cry and seen from the condition after intervention. So there is the result of this research is there is relationship between anxiety patient with chronic failure with hemodialysis. Thank you.
Thank you. So, next presenter, please. No question answer. We do fast. So, post lunch session also coming up. Before lunch, we finish.
Yes.
And before lunch, our vice chancellor will give the certificate on the stage. Okay?
Okay.
Please
Because
proceed.
I have already mentioned. We are,
Yes.
it's a limited
Okay, sir. Chairman, sir. I take a leave.
Result and discussion. Assessor will come. So we have to
banyak ini udah saya edit itu.
Milawati's presentation will be on caregiver profession experience in documenting care in the use of CPPT.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to see you all. My name is Milawati Luciani from Palatehan University in Banten, Indonesia. I would like to present about my data research, professional caregiver experience in documenting care in the integrated patient development record. Background, we know Permenkes 2008, the making of medical record is referred to Paragraph 2, shall be carried out through recording and documenting the result of examination, treatment, action, and other service that have been provided to the patient. And the important care version of the CARS hospital accreditation standard which require integration of care between PTAs, one of which is patient safety to prevent misinformation that is shared by other health teams. And Krakatau Medical Hospital in July 2018, the highest PPT incomplete and was doctor unreadable reading with 33.1% and verification is very low result. And August 2018 it was found that the incompleteness of filling in the highest CPPT sheet plus verification is low and doctor is unreadable writing work. Background and based on interview, he say I used to write on the separate sheet so that communication was often interrupted because the doctor did not open the nurse sheets. So sometimes the communication between doctor and nurse did not connect. And evaluation dietitian. He said if CPPT now use SOAP, if it is actually dietist using assessment of evaluation, intervention, monitoring, evaluation, using SOAP is considered is incomplete. And we know CPPT goes kerjasama antar nurse and midwifery, physiotherapist, doctor, apotheker, and dietitian. And we know all safety in patient, accuracy of patient identity, increase effective communication, improve drug safety that needs to be watched, certainly in right location, right procedure, right patient surgery, risk of health service infection, and the risk of patient killing. Methodology is research qualitative, research location and time in Krakatau Medica Cilegon Hospital, Banten Province, population or hospital employed with various health profession and participant, sick participant. Processing and data analysis connects with participant stories, use dollar criteria for narrative curriculum vitae, short chronological event and experience, critique to core of the story, verify the story core, check plot and subplot to the identify themes that reveals their significance, checking the plot structure and make a plot of the entire narrative. Kelly and Howie to 2007. And
I think you can go the main finding conclusion.
Okay. The conclusion, research on the experience of PPI in documenting care in the use of CPPT involved 6 participants from various professions, namely doctor, nurse, midwives, pharmacy, and nutrition, and physiotherapists. PPS experience in documenting care in the use of CPPT all participants in this study was positive as CPPT can facilitate communication between fellows. But among the 6 participants, there were still some who did not know who was required to write care in CPPT. The lack of socialization about CPPT was also an evaluation of how to write and who had the right to write in CPPT. Recommendation, the result of study are expected to be used as input especially for evaluating the implementation of CPPT implementation to Hospital Krakatau Cilegon. And for other research, who will continue this research or conduct more in-depth research such as the effectiveness of the use of CPPT on patient safety. Thank you.
Next presenter, Imam Gunawan. Participants, we are really running out of time. I appreciate if you can just tell us the objective and just straight go to your conclusion. Okay, the important findings only.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to chairman and co-chairman. My name is Imam Gunawan. I am a student at Lincoln University College PhD program at Faculty Computer Science and Multimedia. I made this research in collaboration with my wife. She is a Lincoln University College student too at Faculty of Health. Our research title is Early Screening of Baby Blues based on Android application. First week postpartum. Introduction.
Please, sir. Adjective if you are.
Introduction. Postpartum depression or PPD is quite large, where there are 1 in 25 postpartum women experience PPD who still report symptoms of PPD after 6 months. The highest risk of having PPD is more experienced by removal detect in 10 until 19 postpartum days. For PPD do not adversely affect the mother and baby. Early screening is needed to prevent the occurrence of PPD. According to the study, there were 144 of 674 mothers who experienced the baby blues or mild baby blues using the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale or EPDS screening. EPDS helps predict postpartum depression, allowing initiation of secondary prevention efforts that focus on reducing the prevalence and duration of condition. Methods: participants download EPDS application and then they use it in the first week after giving birth. On 4th week, the mother refill EPDS application screening to compare the result of screening the first week with 4th week using the dependency test. In this study also analyze the factors that influence the baby blues such as education, employment, parity, and age using the ANOVA test. The study samples were first week postpartum mothers with a sample of 64 people, and this is application based Android have uploaded to Play Store, and we can download it if we needed. The result can be seen in this table. Table 1, comparison of PPDS screening in the first week with the fourth week. We have p-value 0.208. Table 2, the result of PPDS screening according to education. We have p-value 0.596. Table 3, the result of PPDS screening to employment. We have p-value 0.784. Table 4, the result of PPDS screening to parity. We have p-value 0.001. And then table 5, the result of PPDS screening to age. We have p-value 0.001. Discussion.
Sir, this comes from no discussion.
The conclusion is the result of the study can be summarized as follows. There was no difference in the result of screening at the first postpartum week with the fourth week postpartum. The incidence of PPD was mostly in preemie and women aged under 20 years. It's recommended for pregnant women and health workers to do screening in the first week of postpartum so that it can detect PPD early. That's all. Thank you.
Next presenter, UNIMUS. Just explain the objective and your main item.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning everyone. I am Yuli from Southeast Sulawesi. Thank you for the chairman, Dr. Nisa and team. I am a student of Dr. Nisa. My title is a correlation between knowledge and attitude of third trimester of pregnant woman with implementation of pregnant gymnastic at Lepo-Lepo Health Center, Mundodopi, Baruga, Kendari City. Introduction. Maternal death can be prevented up to 22%, namely through regularly antenatal care early. Detection of complication in pregnancy, healthy living with balanced nutrition, implementation of early breastfeeding, initiation and in childbirth, and regularly pregnancy exercise. So the purpose of study was to determine the relationship between knowledge and attitude of third trimester pregnant woman with the implementation of pregnancy gymnastic. Data collection was carried out at once at time approach, means that each research subject was only observed once and measurements were taken on the character status or objective variables at the time for examination. Characteristic of respondents were based on the highest age group, namely age between 28 to 30 years old, as many as 11 respondents or 23.9%. and the lowest was 34 years old, as many as 7 respondents, or 15.2%. Mass education was senior high school with 25 respondents, or 54.4%, and the lowest was junior high school with 10 respondents. Result of unified analysis. Less knowledge of mother was 25 respondents, 54.3%, while good knowledge was 21 respondents, or 45.7%. The mother's attitude was less, as many as 21 respondents, or 67.4%, while the smileless was the good attitude of mother, namely 15 respondents. This is my bivariate analysis, a correlation between knowledge and implementation of pregnancy gymnastic. And then this one, relationship between attitude with implementation of pregnancy gymnastic. The conclusion is, first, there is a correlation between the knowledge of the third trimester of pregnant woman with the implementation of pregnant gymnastic at the Lepo-Lepo health centers in Mondodopi, Baruga, Kendari City. And the last, my conclusion is, there is a correlation between the attitude of third trimester of pregnancy woman with the implementation of pregnant gymnastic at the Lepo-Lepo health centers in Mondodopi, Baruga, Kendari City. Yes, the last one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks you and also your chairman for keeping the time schedule. Okay.
Okay, the next presenter, Sondang Manuro. Sondang Manuro. Islaidi.
Thanks for the time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Islaili. I'm from Kendari, Sulawesi, Indonesia. The title of my paper is The Effect of Plain Parcel Therapy on Anxiety of Children in Preschooler. So, ladies and gentlemen, my presentation is the five some part. The first part is introduction, the second part is methodology, and the third is result and discussion, and the last part is conclusion. So, let me start with sub-general information on anxiety. Anxiety is an internal response that gives an alarm to the individuals. An anxiety reaction in preschool arises to the effect of hospitalization in which the child loses control of himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, actually, this study aims to determine the effect of giving plain therapy to arrange puzzle for anxiety in preschooler in Kendari Hospital. So how about the introduction? Go straight to the result. Okay.
Just what to do and which your part. Okay, no, skip. Let's skip. What you found?
Result based on the analysis test in preschool children before and after the basal pain therapy, the significance of B below is 0.05. Okay, so to sum up this presentation, I will talk about you. This conclusion is the playing therapy is
Why
effective.
is your no conclusion slide here? Yeah, something is
wrong.
missing.
Something.
Oh, coming
Something.
and wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell what you have found. Tell your conclusion. What is your result?
Yeah. The conclusion is.
Thank you.
Thank you. The study indicate the basal plane therapy effective reducing anxiety in vascular. I think so. Thank you. Basal therapy. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sally. Next presenter, Alif Naik. Alif Naik. Rahmawati.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for my opportunity. My title of article is School-Based Adolescent Obesity Prevention. This is a systematic review of the literature. My name is Rahmawati. I came from Indonesia. I am a student, doctoral student at Faculty of Public Health, Hasanuddin University. This is my layout presentation. For the background, the obesity epidemic in adolescents has become a public health threat over the past 30 years. We can see in this slide, in developed and developing country, increase in 30 years. Even in Indonesia, based on this case data, we can see obesity in children and adolescents is increased. Obesity in adolescents usually experience obesity into adulthood, social problems, difficult finding work or finding a partner. Overweight and obesity contribute to the global burden of disease. School and adolescents, you can see the school has been identified as a place to reach children and family, especially in poor community and arrangement with interference capacity to support children's health and mental development. This is the purpose of my article, to review systematic review to see how effort to prevent adolescent obesity in school. This is the method, literature review. I searched the literature review from Prokes, PubMed, BMC, Journal of School Health, and Google Scholar with keyword adolescent obesity, prevention of obesity school. Then I limited the search in the last 5 years and used research in English. This is the inclusion criteria and result. You can see from 70,351, I choose 11 articles, 5 articles from Google Scholar, 2 articles from PubMed, 2 articles from Journal of School Health, 1 article from Public Health Nutrition, and 1 article from Prokes. This is the program. You can see name of program, Project Health School, PHS. We can see 2 COP Health, Lifestyle Teen Program, School Day Lunch. From 11 program, I can tell you that program component is 1 dietary habit, 2 physical activity, 3 sedentary activity, 4 adolescent physics factor, 5 communication, communication, 6 curriculum lesson at school, and 7 friends of the same age, or we call peer. This is program component, and first diet and physical. The conclusion is prevention of adolescent obesity by interfering in the school environment provide a solution in overcoming the increase of obesity caused by multi-factor. The experience from the study need to further examine how the role of peer to have a positive influence in changing nutritional knowledge and physical activity in adolescents who are the risk of obesity. I think that's, thank you for the opportunity.
Next presenter will be Fatoni.
Okay, thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to Chairman and Co-Chairman, and then thanks for all my friends, all of Indonesia. I introduce myself. My name is Fatoni from Universitas Palektehan Serang, Banten, Indonesia. I want to present about my research. This is titled The Influence of Health Education on Mothers' Knowledge about Prevention and Handling of Febrile Seizure in Public Hospital Serang, Banten, Indonesia. The outline, background, objective, method, result, and conclusion. Okay. The objective, my research is this study was aimed to determine the effect of health education on mothers' knowledge about the prevention and handling of febrile seizure. The method, this is type of research use the quasi-experimental method with a pretest, post-test, one group design, research design. In this case, the researcher involved 2 variables, the independent variable, health education, and the dependent variable, mother knowledge of fever prevention and management. The result, the influence of health education on mother knowledge about the prevention and handling of febrile seizure in flamboyant room of public hospital in Semarang. Based on table is now that the average knowledge of mother about the prevention and treatment of febrile seizure before getting a health education intervention is 30.95 with a standard deviation of 2.333. There is an increase in the average knowledge of mother after getting a health education intervention of standard deviation of 2.276. And then conclusion, based on the result of the research that has been done, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference between the average level knowledge before and after being given health education of p-value of 0.000, so significant. And then the suggestion, it is expected that further researchers who wish to examine similar study to that research can be carried out using a control group using media booklet to determine their effectiveness in preventing and managing febrile seizure. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter will be Melody Surya. Melody Surya, Shira? No. Yuni Sufianti? So Yuni Sufianti will be presenting to us on family children or caring children with
Thank you, the chairman and the co-chairman. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon of everyone in this room. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Yuni Sufianti Arif. I came from the Faculty of Nursing, University Airlangga, Surabaya. In this session, I will the presentation about a part of our research with the title Family Filial Value on Caring Children with Leukemia. The background of this study, leukemia is one of condition of chronic disease in the children, and so the leukemia, as we know, that the highest case of cancer in the children. So the treatment given to the children with leukemia require a long treatment. Many factors can affect the empowerment of family in providing care to one of member of his family with condition the chronic. Is one of the factor is family filial value. The aim of this study to explain the family filial value in treating leukemia children, and the design of this study, the study was descriptive with the correlation design, and the population in this study is the 140 family with the children suffering from leukemia in hospital in Surabaya. The independent variable of this study is family filial value. It consists of 3 indicators that consists of the responsibility, respect and care, and then the dependent variable is family ability to caring children with leukemia. And the result of this study, for the filial value that consisting of the 3 dimensions in this variable is consists of the responsibility, respect and care. As we know that based on this study, we know that the 3 indicator of filial value is a ring in the medium ring, and then the highest
category, highest indicator in this variable is in the responsibility. And the family ability is consists of 3 indicators that consisting of the perceived health, personal growth, and the existential well-being, and that all of 3 that indicator for family ability is the range of medium category, and the highest category for the family ability in the indicator personal growth. The result of the correlation analysis showed that there were correlation of family failure value and about 3 indicators in this study: responsibility on the family, and then the respect, and then the care. That all the indicators have correlation on the family ability to caring children with leukemia, with the significance level in the 0.00, and for the correlation of the responsibility is 0.52, and then for the respect correlation, coefficient correlation for the indicator respect is 0.403, and then the care indicator of the care in the family value coefficient correlation is 0.297. A discussion and conclusion. Description of indicator failure value consisting of responsibility, respect, and care, and that the indicator of respect or care, parent attention, and admiration for children suffering from leukemia. Family ability to care for leukemia children, which consists of indicator perceived health, personal growth, and existential well-being, and the result of this study explained that the existence of basic family value as a forming family empowerment can provide a positive family appraisal for family caring for leukemia children. A further research is needed on how intervention to improve family failure values so that family empowerment in caring for leukemia children can be increased. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Our next presenter will be Geraldine S. Rida. The title will be on relationship between stressors and coping strategies among nursing students during related learning experience.
To the conveners and to my fellow presenters, warm greetings from the Philippines. I am Geraldine Esridad from Mindanao State University, Ligan Institute of Technology in the Philippines. And I am pleased to present to you our study entitled Relationship Between Stressors and Coping Strategies as Perceived Among Nursing Students During Related Learning Experience. So the reason why we conducted this study is that the rate and level of stress and depression among students are increasing. In fact, in our university, we have recorded approximately 3 completed suicide cases. However, these are not from the College of Nursing. Although they are not from the College of Nursing, still nursing students are prone to more stress because of the weight of the academic requirements that they have based on the CHAD Order number 14 series of 2009. They cannot eradicate stress, but they can prevent it or reduce it. So therefore, our study aimed to determine the common identified intra and interpersonal stressors as perceived by the 3rd year and 4th year nursing students. The common identified intrapersonal and interpersonal coping strategies that they applied, and their significant relationship. The significant relationship between the stressors and their coping strategies. So we used the descriptive correlational research design in 2 selected nursing schools in Ligan, which have permitted us to conduct the study with a total of 191 3rd year and 4th year nursing students. They are officially enrolled for the reason that they are the students who have clinical experience. For the sampling, we used the total enumeration sampling, meaning we collected all the data from all the 3rd year and 4th year nursing students who have given the consent for For the instrument, we use a researcher-made questionnaire. It is a 5 Likert scale type. It is validated by 3 consulted experts, and it was pilot tested with a Cronbach's alpha of 0.854, which indicates high reliability. We used SPSS software version 19 for the statistical analysis. For the results, so we have here the perceived intrapersonal and interpersonal stressors. Among all of the stressors that have been mentioned, I would like to highlight that clinical instructors causes moderately or are perceived as a moderately stressor among all the students. For the coping strategies, all of the intrapersonal and interpersonal, they use it they have high coping strategy use or effective use for the following coping strategies. For the relationship, as you can see highlighted on the table, only skill confusion have a negative relationship, a significant negative relationship with interdependence. So this means that the student nurse has increased skill confusion, it can lead to decreased interdependence because they would focus on finishing their task than collaborating with their group mates. So for the interpersonal stressors, as highlighted, we have the staff nurses. It has a positive, significant relationship with self-concept. And for the duty mates, their group mates, it has a positive, significant relationship with their physiological coping strategies. For the clinical instructor, that has a negative, significant relationship with physiological and interdependence. So what does that imply? So the clinical instructors have a negative, significant relationship. Okay, for the conclusion, the study concludes that stressors exist in nursing students' clinical training. The impact of clinical instructor causes more stress to students among all other stressors. The results imply that students' perceived stressors affect their effective use of intra and interpersonal coping strategies. So as recommendations, as educators, we need to review or revisit our teaching strategies or relationship with the student, whether it is effective or is it a barrier or a hindrance to our students' learning. So allow me to leave this encouragement to all of the nursing educators in the hall. May we strive to become better teachers to nurture better nurses. That is all. Terima kasih. Once again, good afternoon.
Okay, we shall now move to the next presentation. We are going to drag forward the afternoon session. Now it is understood, okay? But I would like to start with Adriana Sainafat.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm so delighted that I go a chance to present this topic to all of you. My name is Adriana Sainafat. I'm from Doctor and Student Program in Public Health, Faculty of Public Health, University Hasanuddin Makassar. The introduction: maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate are the main indicator of the degree of public health in area. Maternal mortality rate in Indonesia are relatively high, a factor that have been undertaken by the government in reducing maternal mortality rate. World Health Organization every day 830 in the world In Indonesia, 38 mother and base of the maternal mortality rate of 352 islands on complaint related to pregnant and childbirth. Young adolescents face a higher risk of complication and death as a result of pregnancy than or women. What does this cause? One, bleeding, infection, preeclampsia and eclampsia, and infants abortion and other complications. What are the factors? Indonesia Demography and Health Survey show that around 33.6% of adolescent girls and 30 for 90 years and even for 60 years were dating. And that it is very important that adults don't yet have educated life skill, so that this risk of the unhealthy behavior like primary sex. The behavior are related to pregnancy and sexual transmitted disease, and the pregnancy can lead to an abortion on an early age marriage, and this impacts of the future and the fetus. Methodology, literature review, Google Scholar, PubMed. Okay.
No, then you can, only one slide is there, no methodology? Only one
yes.
slide? What is
it? Methodology, Google Scholar, PubMed, Mendeley, PLOS ONE, Delegates, ProQuest, other search as textbook from library and health report. Keyword for keyword, preconception care, reproduksi, health, and adolescence. By results, the result of the literature review through Google Scholar, PubMed, Mendeley, PLOS ONE, The Lancet, ProQuest use the keyword of preconception care, reproduksi, health, and adolescence result in a number of research articles published in foreign scientific journal. Most depth of the research under existing review of the last 10 years. Preconception care, intervention and intervention, adolescence aiming to improve adolescent health to prevent pregnancy, ACA marriage, forced sex, this type of pregnancy. The profession of preconception care intervention again in adolescence so that mother and child risk factor could be overcome. The recommendation preconception care to be implementation in foreign regional because of preconception care is a important intervention of medical, biomedical, behavior, and social risk for pregnancy and healthy of children through risk assessment, health promotion, design, protection of profession of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Sri Sunarti. Sri Sunarti. Are you around, Sri Sunarti? Zuriati? Not coming. SMH Kabe Sunarti. Please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Shabrari Humayun. I'm from International University, Malaysia. And I'm doing a PhD in Business Administration. And this paper is part of my PhD research. So the title of my paper is Attitude of Physicians and Patients Towards Pharmaceutical Promotion in Healthcare from Ethical Context. So I will try to cover it very shortly. So the pharmaceutical, you know that the pharmaceutical business, that the pharmaceutical companies are producing the medicines for patients, and medicines are very specific products. So the promotion of the medicines depends on knowledge sharing between the physicians and patients. So the pharmaceutical companies or pharmaceutical companies, physicians are the customers and patients are the consumers. So pharmaceutical companies typically direct their promotion towards physicians, and they spend around $61,000 annually per physician to promote their products. And how they promote these products to the physicians, they detail their products to the physicians. That means that when you get sales representatives, when they visit the physicians, they provide the product information to the physician. They provide gifts. It can be low value gifts or high value gifts, and the free blood samples and consultancy fees, and sponsoring local and international travel costs, and many more. So these are the things which the pharmaceutical companies promote while they visit the physician. So in 2016, worldwide, the pharmaceutical industry spent $120 billion to promote their products towards physicians. So what happened next? In 2017, the total sale of the pharmaceutical companies worldwide was around near to $1 trillion. So among which the total sale of pharmaceutical products in Malaysia was more than $3 billion. So this is a very huge market, and due to the intensity of this market, and there is a huge tendency of the pharmaceutical companies to involve in unethical practices by providing benefits to the physicians, and when the physicians are getting benefits from the pharmaceutical companies, they actually fall in an obligation to prescribe their medicines. So physicians' prescription behavior and the ethical dilemma, these are the two most found output effects between the healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies. So the issue is, when we did the literature review, we found these gaps, like there are very few scholars who actually studied the effects of physicians and patients' attitude on pharmaceutical promotion, and not in Malaysia there are very few studies, and there is a lack of theoretical contribution also in the physicians' prescription behavior studies, and moreover, there is no studies which has been found in Malaysia which actually identifies the attitude of patients towards pharmaceutical promotion, while perceive their doctors as having been influenced by pharmaceutical promotion. So the objective of this research is to determine the attitude of physicians and patients towards pharmaceutical promotion in healthcare from ethical context. So this is the framework which actually is the whole framework, and this paper is part of this framework. So here you can see the patients and physicians and pharmaceutical promotion, which are interlinked with the 5 things: demographic characteristics, professional knowledge, regulatory bindings, social responsibility, and unethical behavior. These things have been derived from the literature. So the methods we have used qualitatively, and data has been collected through in-depth, individual depth interviews, and open-ended structured semi-structured question has been used. Observations have been used for data privacy, and data has been analyzed for NGO. So this is the results. So this is the main findings. Like from the analysis, we have found these 8 things which are treatment, drug promotion, attitude, social responsibility, mindset, professional knowledge, needs, and regulatory bindings. And we have put in hierarchy based on the number of sources and number of coded references.
So, okay, the final findings is physicians feel that they are socially responsible for the patients to provide treatment, and they have a positive attitude towards pharmaceutical promotion, and the 60% of physicians are not aware of any regulatory findings which raise the question of unethical practices unknowingly, and 50% patients have positive and 50% patients have negative statements towards pharmaceutical promotion. So these are the implications for my research, which can help for future researchers or the medical regulatory boards and physicians to govern their interactions with the pharmaceutical sales representatives more efficiently, and the pharmaceutical marketers can also manage their promotional budgets more efficiently. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next presenter for today, Adi Malvi Haranto. Priska Ernestina. Priska. Noreen John. Noreen John will be presenting on perceived benefits of nursing students towards mentorship.
there is significant difference whereby the student July 2016 have the lowest score and student January 2018 has the highest score. Hypothesis number 2, there is no significant difference in benefit on mentoring program based on the age of nursing student, and the result is no significant difference. Hypothesis number 3, there is no significant difference in benefit on the mentoring program based on the academic qualification of nursing student, and the result is no significant difference. Implications. The preparation input and understanding of the purpose of mentoring program implemented, this has increased the awareness of mentees to seek help from the mentors. Optimum benefit in mentorship is crucial that mentors chosen to mentor nursing students should possess a good attitude and behavior for mentees to emulate in helping other caring, professional behavior as well as excellent soft skill in nursing. Good role modeling should start the first day of student enter the nursing school. Conclusion. This study shows that the students have benefited from mentoring program and supporting surveys to academic performance both in classroom and clinical practice. Recommendation: future studies direction should be carried out to explore the perspective of many adults on how to improve the quality of mentoring program. And the management should look upon the mentor preparation costs, requirement for the student, and mentor for optimal benefit. Thank you.
Okay, can we have our next presenter, Sabia Sashidas?
Respected Chairperson, all the dignitaries, and the friends. I am Dr. ICHAS from Faculty of Medicine, Lincoln University. The topic of my presentation today is novel genetic polymorphism of Plasmodium falciparum associates with emergence of artemisinin resistance and development of novel rapid detection kit. The causative agent of malaria is well known, that is the different Plasmodium species, and the drug-resistant malaria is one of the emerging cause of resistance. The thing is that the present drug is used for the malaria is artemisinin-based combination therapy, that is the ACT. In India, it is artesunate plus sulfadoxine pyrimethamine. That is the combination of fast-acting artemisinin derivative with longer-acting sulfadoxine pyrimethamine. And the nearer countries, all the neighboring countries, especially in the Myanmar and Thailand, Cambodia border, the emergence of artemisinin resistance is there. The most worstest thing is that after artemisinin, there is no medicine. If a patient is artemisinin resistant, the only fate is the death. So this is my method. We including in vivo patient, in vitro, ex vivo, and whole genome wide studies. In first goal, we have screened 3,200 patients, and among them only single allele from patients of 384 which randomized to ASSP. And these are the different inclusion and exclusion criteria. I am not going to do on it. So after the treatment, we have found 4 different parasitic phenotypes. The pink one is the phenotype where we can easily show a parasite clearance more than 72 hours. If the parasite clearance is more than 72 hours, it is the case of early artemisinin resistance or early treatment failure. And the phenotype other character, depending on age, is the parasite clearance supply. It is a very new phenotype character is invented by which we know the parasite is cleared by a log scale. That means it's not a carboid. So parasite biomass can be reduced logarithmically. So if it is parasite clearance half-life is more than 5 hours, it is designed as the less susceptibility. Depending on, we have found some ACPR ETF, and this is the first case of India where we found total 25 cases of early treatment failure, that is 72-hour positive case. Now the question is that what is the cause of it? So we have found there is a parasite clearance half-life more than 5. So we have found 43 patients out of 25 was day 3 positive patients. So now the literature review says that there is a one gene known as KELH13 gene is directly responsible for the artemisinin resistance. But there is no previous report of KELH polymorphism in India. And there is another report is that there is till date there is no technique to detect artemisinin resistance hard and fast by which we can easily treat the patient. So we have total sequence the artemisinin gene by specific multiplex sequence. These are the visual data. From that, this is the most important findings. This is the sequencing data. Where we found at the up there is a red round, that is CGA, that is a mutation in specific position of 625. This is the first case of G625 polymorphism, which directly responsible for the parasite clearance half-life, that is the phenotypic character, and the in vitro and ex vivo, that is the ring stage survivability assay. We have also checked the reverse strand and shows the similar polymorphisms. Then we done the crystallography analysis and we crystallized the whole wild and mutant type protein. We found this total alteration of structures in the 625 positions. When we superimpose the position, we found there is a notch in the structure that is produces 0.223 angstrom, and that is a very important thing. Why? Because whenever protein drug interaction takes place, why drug interact or why drug acts? Because it interacting it strongly. If the drug interaction is more, we get the great result. We found in mutant case, see, in wild type it is 7.92 kilocalories, but in mutant it is reduced to 5.65. So that means the drug interaction is reduced. So these are the different mutations we found. So when it's done the ex vivo analysis, we found at the same mutation, it shows very high parasite clearance half-life along with the in vitro, that is more than, if it is more than 1% it is resistant, we found more than 10% is extremely resistant. So we have found partial resistance. So the yellow lines is the partial resistant phenotypes along with the genotype, which is the specific genotypes. We have screened total 27 genes. And we found the G625 is the most important. These are the early treatment failure and the resistant isolates. And their whole genome phenotype, we have checked the parasitemia, plasma levels, plasma clearance, urine clearance, ring stage survivability, in vitro, along with the genome-wide. And at the right side, there is the gene bank ID number and the protein bank ID number of all those sequences. Now the question is that till date we have no method to detect. Then how we can detect? So we have designed a way for a mixed PCR sequencing. Because sequencing is not possible, it needs profound accuracy. So by that we have designed a specific, so you can find there is a mutant allele CA-CGG allele. In wild type it is GGA. So with the help of mutant biolab, we have designed a registration enzyme for it, which is a recognition sequence of CAC-GAG and a cutting sequence of 5'C. So by that, and that is the position of our mutations. So for that we done that RFLP. So what happened if resistance is found, then we can get a two band in 280 base pair and 780 base pair. If there is wild type, so it's a 1.1 kb. So by that way we can easily detect the 625 mutation, and when we assess it, we found that 625 mutation has a 93% specificity and 89% of sensitivity. So that's all for a technique for detection of artemisinin resistance, and this is the first report of a development of a technique.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we have the next presenter, Viviani? Patmi Nirmala Sari. What happened? Not here, you sure? Yes. Sri Novo Retno.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Sri Nawaretno from Interpersonal Academy Patrol Semarang. I want to present my article, The Relationship of Characteristics of Family Planning in Plan with Sexual Dysfunction in Gunung Sugi, Central. Background: family sexual dysfunction is one of the most common problems for women. One of the side effects of hormonal birth control is decreased libido or sexual dysfunction. The purpose to determine the relationship between implant contraceptive and sexual dysfunction at acceptor family planning in Gunung Sugi, Central Indonesia. Theoretical framework: variable dependent cause of the sexual dysfunction, any physical factor, physical factor, interpersonal factor, other cause factor, alat contraception, age, level of education, occupation, parity, body mass index, and the duration of marriage. Variable depend sexual dysfunction problem. Methodology: I have design analytic method with cross-sectional approach, questionnaire FSFI, time and place reset in my 2018, Gunung Sugi, Central Indonesia. Result population: all women of childbearing age 15 until 49 years who use implant contraception in Gunung Sugi, Central. The sample is received 178 women who had implant family planning participant in Gunung Sugi, Central. Inclusive criteria: women of childbearing age between 15 until 49 years. Suddenly is reset in marital status using implant after more 6 months, healthy, able to communicate well, and agree to be a respondent. Conclusion: the description of sexual function in family planning acceptor of implant in Gunung Sugi, Central was found 119 or 66.9% experience sexual dysfunction from 178 respondents. There are 4 dominant factors related to sexual dysfunction in implant acceptor: any level education, employment, number of children, length of marriage. Suggestion: in order to further enhance the promotion, counseling, information concern, and informed choice effort, as well as provide counseling about sex, family planning, side effect arising from the use of contraceptive, and can be developed to form a sexual consultant and family planning clinic. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, our last presenter for today will be Sumadino.
No? Oh, so very nice. This presentation was actually, the topics were very interesting. I take apology that I cannot give you, we cannot provide you sufficient time. We already have made slides very beautifully and the topic was very good, but we cannot provide you sufficient time to discuss about
Very
it.
unfortunate.
Actually. So I like to thank all the presenters, very nice. And also to our co-chairperson, Dr. Nisha. She has done a tremendous job. So thanks all. Thank you. Anything, madam?
No. Yeah, it's just that it's very unfortunate that, I thought that some presentations were just too good. But keep in in mind, it's also a very good important skill that you manage to shorten your presentation. You know what important point to tell in that 5 minutes. So that's also a very big achievement, right? Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for
We are in time. At the proper time actually. This is last time.
So thank you everyone. We would like to present some memorandum to our chairman. Yes.
Will you take the picture, please?
Thank you.
Also in my mobile, you will take results. Come this side.
Just hold on.
Take banner.
It's bad.
Oh, that is.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more.
Here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Just come.
Oh,
You take another time.
yeah.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Please in my camera. This. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Very good.
Oh, you may join also. Yeah. Nice.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Say that. So after lunch will be another session.
Dah habis tak bulan? Habis tak? Habis.
Oh.